Let me shut my phone so it doesn't. Right, everything is on. All right. Are we ready? Not quite. It's 11:02. 11:02. Call the meeting to order. Okay, the land acknowledgement, are we doing that? Is that what we do now?
That's what we do now.
Okay, I don't have a copy of it.
I have it right here.
So we acknowledge we are on the traditional territory of the Laxo First Nation within Treaty 3, and that many of the people and communities that we serve in Sioux Lookout traditionally known as and please don't come at me, meaning Bay of Sandy Beaches, come from treaties 5 and 9.
And 3.
Oh,
Doing treaty 3.
and well, it started treaty 3, I think in the beginning. Traditional. So. Okay, so do you have any amendments to the agenda? Weeks that way.
Well, I don't see it on here, but I had asked if we could include some discussion about ongoing education.
I did reply to your email and say the agenda had already been out to bring it up.
What?
I did reply to your email and say the agenda is published a week in advance. So anything you want to add after a week in advance, you have to bring up here.
In that case, I'm bringing it up.
Okay, so,
But not right now. Yeah.
Whenever,
okay, so you're gonna speak to that?
yeah,
Okay.
Business, okay.
I guess we'll put that to numbers. Number 7 or 6 in section 8. Great, confirmation of agenda. Or wait, are there any other items before we move forward? Trying to like get at her. No? Okay. All right, confirmation of agenda. I need a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
We don't. Declarations of Q and A interest. Adoption of the minutes, May 20th minutes, so hopefully everyone had time to go over them. I thought they were good.
Just my name is spelled incorrectly. It's Mackechnie. That's all good. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Copied it from the website. We won't have to fix that there too.
I'm gonna enjoy this. McKinchai.
I thought it was, it's big, and I said, I don't think that's how you spell that.
I look it up on Facebook.
I know, right? Like I need to find out. Mackechnie.
See in the email, just because of his, as with any Mac.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so where did I go to find this? That is the website. I will have to get you to fix that too.
That is okay. I just wanted it noted.
Fix that.
Thank you.
Okay, mover and a seconder.
I'll second.
Don't think we have any business arising.
Other than what Eileen presented.
Yeah, she's on number 6.
Sounds good.
Okay, and we don't have any delegations, so items for discussion, we're moving right along.
Now, can I just talk about delegations? Is it worth our while to, I know that I've talked to a few people and they don't understand or have the knowledge or know the people they're doing a little project and they want some Indigenous engagement. Should we sort of do a little information post that if they're struggling with that they could even they could come at delegations, give us their idea, and then we could give them some engagement ideas. Do you think we should do that?
I think that would be lining up with kind of what we're doing as a Truth and
Yeah,
Reconciliation.
because if people are struggling to get Indigenous engagement, we're always here every month. They could come here. And I mean, if you guys don't know the topic, you know someone who knows. Yeah, so it would be the perfect place and that would be a perfect spot to use but we would have to do some, social media posts, that we're here, we're available. This is the perfect place. Like you can't say, well, we couldn't find any, Indigenous engagement when we're here and no one has approached us. So we're here. Just want that out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't know everything about every topic, but we do know people, right?
So the action item from that would be, so are we gonna put something out to let people?
Yeah, could we have the town do that? Just say, if you're looking, that the role of the,
I don't see it, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I can definitely approach because I'm not one of the members of the communications
Yeah.
team, right? So I would have to go to the communications. So if you wanted to put a message together and provide that to me, whether it's like a poster or whatever that we can get posted, I can send it to the communications team and ensure that if there's an issue, they can let me know what it is. Otherwise, ask them to post it.
Okay. Do you,
I like that because we have somebody who's kind of like getting that contact because we're not giving our information out right away. So it allows us, and I think we've done that in the past, right?
People reach out in the past. And as they've asked questions, I've asked, either normally you yourself, Darlene or Alana, I've reached out and said, this is who I think to connect with. But it might be better to have them come here and ask the whole group in general than email me and have, a bumbled answer.
the nice thing about it is if they came here, then it would be recorded and it would be public and it would be a learning experience for other people, so.
So who's gonna take the lead on the messaging? For communication?
Do you want to do that, Naomi?
You and,
Sure.
okay,
So now people are going to call me?
No.
it'll go through the municipal.
No, please do. I have no problem using whatever resources we have for people to be able to
If
get
you
some
want
information.
to put together,
Just a little poster.
even if you want to give me like points to put on a poster, I could try and put one together in Canva when I have time. And then, we can go from there. But if you are able to put something together, at least talking points for the poster, that would be good.
All right, sounds good. Can I have a due date on that?
Tomorrow.
No, by next,
June.
If you do in 2 weeks,
Okay.
and then that'll give me 2 weeks before the next meeting to try and put something together for you guys to see before it goes to communications.
No, that'd be good. It's just a due date really helps with some of the content we're getting.
July 2nd.
All right, thank you.
I don't know what day of the week that is, but July 2nd.
That will be a day you'll get it. No, that's a third Wednesday.
Okay,
Sorry I see it says, Friendship Center event there was also a request out for the flag raising. Is that on the Friday, which is the 20th this week?
The Friday the 10 is the,
And I believe we had an invitation to attend.
attend,
I was
yes.
going to attend.
I think everyone responded
Okay,
in
good.
the email.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I didn't look. Thank you.
there's too much going on, I tell you. I just realized I
Yeah.
double booked for Friday morning.
Friday. Oh,
Okay. All right, so we're in items for discussion. So number one, memorial site. So my update is basically we have people interested in partnering and doing the funding proposal for us. but they won't move forward on anything until we actually have permission for the site. So, we had some questions in the email. So overall budget, to do a lot of research on the best bang for the funding if we get it. Between $1,000 and $1,500, and I'm being generous. Until like we actually like move forward. They're super rough estimates, okay? Basically, what I've looked at is Sproutbox Canada. They have some really great options. They're built to last 20 years, in comparison to wood, which would break down in rock.
What was?
Sproutbox Canada.
Sprout box?
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, we wouldn't need to hire anyone. I could put it together myself. They're built that way. And basically, the one that I was looking at, there's a website, you can look at it, but basically you pick a standard one and you can either have it longer or a little bit wider. You're not like confined to just a little square, so it could be a little bit longer. So I was looking at the one configuration was 6.5 feet by 3.5 feet. So easy to maintain, not gonna be a huge footprint. And then the cost outside of that, which would be included in the funding, would be the initial cost of flowers and soil and all that stuff. So that's all included in the 1,500. There is questions about the year to year. So I think the committee would have to set aside $500 each year in the budget. So we probably
Would that be for plants each year?
plants if we needed to, because eventually.
Planted perennials, we
Yeah.
have to replace them, right? They just come up. Yeah.
No. And then they were concerned about maintenance and damage costs, so. I guess you never know. But, and then to do the upkeep, I mean. I guess that would just be, like, if everybody's in agreement, I think it would just be a committee thing, like,
I could go and
clean it and
Mhm.
whatever, like. The only thing would be watering it, and I think that'd be a logistical thing that we could work with.
would the town take on the watering when they water the other plants? Yeah.
It's something that would have to be requested and council would have to agree to. Because it's considered a higher level of service.
Yes.
And that would be a budget item as well, right? Yeah.
And it's a bit off the sort of beaten track in terms of,
And the
And
truck
it-
can.
yeah, the truck can't go around and just water it. We need to be, yeah.
Logistically, it's a little bit harder. But the other thing is, if we do plant perennials, I know they're more expensive at the front end, but then a cost savings along the way, and they use less water.
Mhm.
It's not like an annual that you have to water every day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like,
There'd be, just the upfront cost won't be the biggest stuff,
And it's
just maintaining it, as long as we
not
maintain
very
it.
deep, is it?
No,
Yeah, so
3 feet, like 17, 18 inches.
like this, yeah, because you really don't want perennials in a high
Huge,
box,
yeah.
'cause otherwise
they grow,
Yeah.
yeah, they won't grow
Yeah,
back
so-
the next year, yeah.
you want it low enough that they'll put their roots down into the actual ground, not just the soil that's.
Yeah, so, like, there are organizations interested in helping and supporting with this, but not ready to commit until we actually have like permission and stuff, so it's like weird to work on the funding application and with one of the potential partners when you're like, well, we're just gonna wait and see if there's actually, if you guys get permission.
yeah, to do it. Yeah. Now, where would the shoes go?
I think that's one of the things we need to consider. When we look at shoes, I was wondering if there's an opportunity. I see the look on your face, Eileen. Yeah. Like that there's this like kind of maybe a memorial with like a pair of shoes or something, but with the full shoes, I think that would be like good for like the initial, but we'd probably have to get rid of them.
Oh.
They would break down. So that's my only thought.
Because I was sort of thinking we could put like a sculpture or something that's a tree with shelves and people could put the shoes on them. And then as, like you said, as the shoes break down, I'm sure people would bring different shoes. And we would never be responsible for the shoes except for maybe removing the super damaged shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Because it allows there to be, because there
Well,
are people.
We also have to remember that it's a community kind of memorial site. So I think if we just phase one, we just do the garden. And then if the community and people from the community and other organizations say, hey, we would like to do this, like almost like let it be this,
Organic, yeah.
yeah, as opposed to like, this is.
But are we moving the shoes that are there on Wellington Street now to this?
Yes.
And I think we'd like to also, I know we haven't got to that place yet as per the permission, but we could do an event or allow people to know why we're moving the shoes, why we
Yeah, yeah.
consider this, kind of do that like
Teaching.
preamble to why we're moving.
Yeah,
So,
And would there be a sign,
a plaque.
plaque?
Yeah. Well, see, this is what I was thinking to replace the shoes. Is have a plaque and maybe just like a pair of shoes. Like
painted or bronze. I know,
bronze,
that's
you
what
know,
I was
just
thinking
a-
too.
a symbol so that it'll always be there. This is why it started. This is when kind of thing. But it's like there's two things. One, we want to be respectful, but two, who maintains the site, and that's the
Mhm.
municipality. So there's got to be this like.
It's got to be easy to maintain.
It does, yeah. So my assumption would be that that would be just a plaque with a bit of history, which wouldn't cost too much, and then a pair of like bronze children's shoes. And then if it evolves from there later on, like if it ends up becoming a community thing and people want more, I just think the space is
You can adapt.
well, there's trees for shade in the current location. It's so hot there.
Mhm.
And the TIC has bathrooms, there's parking, there's the children's playground. Like it's that space is more of a people coming together site than.
Yeah.
Not that the space now wasn't like it was just something that happened and grew, but just more of a,
But we're also aware it's on property.
so. Anyways, yeah, so.
I think one of the things too is when we do it, when we get permission, that we'd be having an opportunity to like use it as have a ceremony. And then,
Yeah.
The goal would be before, if we can get this
Mhm,
done
mhm.
before the 21st of September, is that the
30,
September
September
30th?
30, yeah, June 21st, September 30th.
September 30th. Okay, that's right. Getting the days wrong.
Yes.
It would be nice to have a bit of an event out there, like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and kind of just having like the mayor and Chief Bull, because they were the originators. They had put the thing down. They're the ones who kind of kickstarted.
And we could even have at that ceremony, because when I went and researched orange plants, remember I said I would do that, what plants exist, and there is actually a couple orange plants that are bulbs that could be planted in the fall. So we could have some bulbs and people could plant bulbs, so.
So yeah, so lots of stuff, hard to move forward. I think,
Okay, so what I would need to do for you then is go to council,
Yeah.
which I'm actually anticipating going to council in July.
Yeah.
So July 16th. And request use of the site.
Mhm.
So the questions that I know that were being asked were who do you anticipate will be maintaining the property?
for the most part, it'll be the committee.
Committee maintaining.
But the town will mow the grass around it and whippersnipper it, right?
Yeah.
We'll weed the garden. Yeah.
Garden.
Yeah.
And hopefully water.
Who's gonna water?
Our committee, let's see.
I think we can.
I mean, if we have to, like I know.
You could even have a water can there and,
The
people.
town budget, so we could do it.
Is there an outside water tap at the tick?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so a watering can would.
Or just wade into the water.
Yes. So, I mean, it's only for the summer, so,
Mhm.
you know, like, I mean, like I said, I don't want to put pressure on the municipal.
And I mean, this year has been very dry, but a normal year, we do have a substantial
Mhm.
rain and you're fine, right?
Just bring a wagon and our watering
Yep.
cans and,
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to go there to weed and check it out regularly anyway, so.
So in a lot of residential school sites, they have a lot of opportunity to lay down tobacco and
Yeah.
leave little trinkets. So I did like the tree idea because there are people who would leave things. It's a form of their healing, right? So
Yeah, because you see those, I don't know, they're like, you see those trees, like they're coat hangers, you know?
Yep.
Like the Forest, I think, has one. It's black wrought iron coating, but if you put little ledges on it,
people can leave
you
it.
know, welded on, then people could leave little things.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I write the report for council, basically what I would be saying is that you're seeking permission to use the property adjacent to the TIC where the bench is currently. Is that kind of,
Yeah, I can send you the.
Beside the
picture.
bench.
Did I Not send it to you,
yeah, you might have.
but I can send a picture again. I threw with, what do you call that program? I did, put a garden box there.
Oh, okay, like a mock-up idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, yeah.
send that to you.
Mhm.
Perfect.
So it's along the walkway from the picture frame. It's further along.
I'm pretty sure I went past it that I was like, okay, that's what they're talking. Okay, so then it would be up to the committee to put the garden beds together, to order them, put them together, install them.
And plant.
Yeah. And then deal with the maintenance, and if there is damage or whatever, that is something you'll deal with as it occurs. Yeah. You're hoping to partner with organizations in town. Yeah, we have a couple once it's established.
Mhm.
Okay. And you're looking for the town to do the grass mowing and the whippersnipping, and that's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will write that report and I'm, like I said, I'm planning on taking it in July, so that council meeting is July 16th, if anybody wanted to attend in case there's a reason to.
Oh, it's a good day, that's my birthday.
Yours is right before yours.
Telling me to do. Okay.
I'll move.
Okay,
Just before we leave this, I have an idea. When we were thinking about, like, she mentioned a tree, how about getting a quote from Jesse Fiddler? If you've been, in the Peace Garden beside the St. Andrew's Church, those beautiful sculptures,
Mhm.
and I'm sure he could do a lovely tree.
Yeah.
And it might even have some carved shoes in it and places
Oh,
to
that's
hang
good.
things.
yeah, so if we decide to like do anything structurally, it would be within the
Sign.
garden bed. And then anything outside of that will be something that would go to cancel later on, if they, outside of that, so. Just because all these things are coming up, right, I just want to clear that.
There won't be additional maintenance.
But it's not, we're just not gonna just throw stuff or something.
Arbitrarily adding more.
We put that in there to say that any future adjustments, or upgrades that are done within the bed, you are seeking permission to just have that, don't get permission. And then anything outside of the garden beds will come back to council for further consultation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that there's no, if somebody's watching this, then if we're like, right? 'Cause just so we're clear and everything's good. Awesome. So Naomi, do the initial motioner.
I'm the initial motioner.
Okay.
I can second it.
Right, so number 2 is the gala. There's no update yet, waiting for the location and date confirmation before we move on.
So we've sent an email to them. And it doesn't sound like Seven Gens is gonna have staff in their kitchen by then.
That
Looking at the logistics, so I've included you two both in the email.
Yeah.
But he said in his response that we have to fill out a form for Kenora District Services Board, so I can do that. And I'll reach out to you guys if they actually require a date, because we're just sort of want to say what date is available, right?
Roughly, roughly when?
In November.
November, okay.
Awesome. Okay,
I did know that.
working group check-ins. Do we have any?
What are the active working groups?
We're still waiting for the artifacts for the museum from the rec center. So once we get those, that cabinet is ready, cleaned, ready to go.
And Reese isn't here to talk about the blueberry event. But I mean, it's probably like
We've already approved the funding for it. So,
Mhm.
probably
Yeah.
since last year.
yeah. We're just gonna add the elders, the circle, the survivor circle. That's the only difference from last year. For the rocks. Yeah.
Okay. Friendship Center event, June 21st.
That will be,
Not sure if he's speaking on that.
Well, I put it on there because they reached out to us. The Friendship Center is running an event on that day. So they've borrowed the tables and chairs from the municipality. They've agreed to donate them, not set them up, but don't give them the actual table and chairs. And then they reached out to see if someone wanted to speak.
Is that at Town Beach?
I thought it was at the Friendship Center,
Oh.
but I'm not sure now that you have said that. Haven't seen the posters or anything yet, so. I don't know. We'll watch for the publications where it is.
I mean, are they doing, what are they doing? Are they doing a powwow?
They're doing a little mini power, yeah.
It would almost have to be at the Town Beach almost, or somewhere with a bit more space than
Mhm.
right at the Friendship Center.
So does anyone want to go on behalf of our committee? And I know Reese said he would if no one else wanted to.
Saturday, this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Time is flying by.
Right. Well, Reese is back this afternoon. We can check. If not, I mean,
Yeah, because he did say he's
who reached out from the Friendship Center? Was it Ashley or?
Yeah. Jenny and Ken.
Okay.
So he did say he would respond to her.
Okay.
Is Ashley still the CEO?
Yeah.
Because their website is dreadfully out of date. It's still got Jennifer Thomas, I think, is the CEO.
Okay, we'll follow up with Reese on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5, council meeting in July, I think.
We're changing dates from the 15th to one that works.
The council meeting,
Oh.
16th, that our meeting was.
The 15th, yeah.
Yeah, so this council meeting, I am bringing forward the motion that you just did. And then Reese's one that he brought forward before about the support, like requesting the support for Truth and Reconciliation Day. That was pretty much it. Just like if you wanted to come, it's the 16th, they start at 5:30. I don't know if there's a statutory public meeting ahead of it yet. Sorry about that.
All right, number 6, Eileen.
Okay, I was talking with Margaret Anjikanen, and she raised an issue that we both live in the towers. And she had been finding out that some of the folks that work there that are fairly new to Sioux Lookout, fairly new to Canada, some of them really did not know the history and didn't understand a lot of the issues. And we were remembering back to the days when there was the Anti-Racism Committee, who quite regularly put on educational events to raise awareness around racism and to educate about the history, and particularly leading up to the initial meetings of the Truth and Reconciliation gatherings across the country. I know in Sioux Lookout we held a number of events. Garnet was very involved with that, as was members of the Anti-Racism Committee, and not much has happened since then, because the Anti-Racism Committee kind of dwindled, shall we say, and disappeared. And I mean, we've raised this before, and I know some of us took part in that Return to Spirit. And it was probably around 20 of us took the non-Indigenous training. And we were supposed to have another event where Indigenous and non-Indigenous met together, and that's never happened. I did talk to Lynn, who had organized that, and she said, well, they're still needing to get more non-Indigenous people trained. But unfortunately, some of the people originally did that sort of scattered to parts unknown. Anyway, Margaret and I were just thinking it would be perhaps timely to have some. And the Return to Spirit, it doesn't go into any of the sort of history. It's more about understanding yourself and how you portray yourself, how you react to other people, and the kind of layers that there's sort of we have an outer layer that people see and we're maybe not even aware of, and then there's who we really are. And so it was about getting to who you really are when you're in discussion with other folks. So I wondered if that was something that we might want to do.
So are we looking at targeting new people coming into Sioux Lookout and kind of like, or
Well, everybody, because I'm coming across some of the old white settlers from in this town from the old days who are not very well informed either, and rather, I hear comments that I would rather not hear.
one sometimes with attitudes like that, they're just never gonna be interested in knowing, but the chamber does new resident nights throughout the year, so there's opportunity there. I know it's targeted to new residents, people coming in. It might be an easy way to tie into
Uh-huh.
a group of people, like,
Who at the chamber does that?
you can reach out to Ninette. He does a schedule for the year,
Okay.
the number.
And they have all sorts of different events, like their,
So-
games nights, and they did the kayaking and a whole bunch of different things.
We're looking at doing one, I think, and I'm not on the planning, so don't hold me on all of this, but partnering with the library and kind of informing new residents of the different things in Sioux Lookout that you kind of need to know. So that might be a good thing to get in on, and we're just talking about like garbage day pickups, like just being just a resident.
Yeah.
This is all the stuff that it's good to be aware of where Service Canada is, Service Ontario. So it might be like, that might be a good
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
But yeah, reach out to Nina, and he's really good.
Okay.
Or the,
Probably Nina's contact.
yeah. And the other thing, don't a lot of employers do that? Do they?
They should have a cultural component, but again, what depth or understanding, because you can look at people's history.
So it's all specific to Sioux
Yeah.
Lookout. It's just
Yeah.
this generic program that you buy.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yeah. And like, I think like Alana said, like the people that you think need it wouldn't go. I hate to say that, but you can't force people to go. And that's why it is nice if, employers have cultural awareness training. And
And the cultural awareness training usually in organizations applies to every culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There does need to be some,
And so I'm thinking about how you could do it informally, because there are going to be opportunities to do it formally, such as going to Rocks to Action, Truth and Reconciliation Day, and things along those lines. I'm not sure if there's an opportunity for kind of like a publication to be in the bulletin or on the website. And the reason I say that is because it is hard to get a captive audience when there are many schedules that are kind of conflicting. And how would you target certain people? Like, is there a way we could kind of put a teaching in the bulletin like every month? Just to be able to be like, oh, somebody can read it, and then we get your knowledge keepers from this area. So, I don't know.
It's expensive. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I think it's.
So what we're saying,
Or even on our,
or as a column, you know, the way they have Dick McKenzie's little column, they need to have a little.
yeah, it would just be
the
nice.
culture- Yeah, a teaching column. Yeah, so it would be a column that we would not pay for, that would be newsworthy,
Yes.
you know, and informative. Yeah,
They would be so glad to get input from us.
yeah.
Yeah,
But when we wouldn't be able to like write the column every week, so they'd have to get a group of contributors, right?
And I think people would want to
Yeah.
contribute.
Do that.
So one of the last ones that I had gone to was a Bringing Our Children Home initiative. And one of the elders had said to me, he goes, strawberries mean reconciliation. And I was like, oh, interesting. So again, I didn't get a full teaching on it, but it was nice to be able to hear that there's even like representation within like fruits, trees, you know? So just having that nice little awareness, like you go to ceremony, like similar with tobacco and stuff, so. But I was just trying to think if there was opportunity, because it's nice if we could give like a little segment at people who are coming into community to identify like this kind of what
A public
dynamics
like,
are, yeah.
Brent
It
wants,
doesn't have to be extensive
Yeah.
training, it could just be.
yeah, like Brent wants to do that little publication, and we could have that in there, you know, and we could, if we got a lot of them made, because doesn't the chamber give like a little package to newcomers? Are they doing that? For some reason I thought they were.
Not so much packages, but it all depends when people come into the center, what they're looking for and what they want. So if we have the information, we share it. But yeah, like a lot of the stuff's geared toward like tourism, camps and stuff. So people who are not from around here, we have maps like how to get to Sioux Mountain the right way.
Oh, not the
Stuff like that, you know, maps, all the kinds of stuff. So if we have the information, we give it out, but like, there's no like set package
Yeah.
that we would give to somebody like.
But I think this also brings up the point that we do need to look at relationships and partnering. And I know we've talked about it, identifying groups that may have information that we should probably be collecting, because if we're looking at information for communities or region, like, it would be nice to just kind of get a inventory, right? Because I know we've mentioned that with even a calendar, and it is hard to get all the information because there are so many different things happening.
And like you just said with information, maybe someone has already done a publication. Like maybe
We just need to
what does SLIFNA have?
highlight it.
New employees, like do they have
maybe the Friendship Center has.
this type of information and that we could tap into rather than doing it ourselves?
Rather than continuing to try to like bottleneck it, we could be it more inclusive,
Yeah.
encompassing.
So how would we go about to find out if that information is out there?
Well, we have all the contacts from our banners. So could we do a little
Could do a post and saying, like, we're curious what information is out there.
Yes.
If anyone has information that they think that would be helpful to share with us, maybe please forward it.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I mean, like I'll say this because we're kind of volunteering. Okay, yeah, maybe in my head, I'm volunteering Brent, but maybe we could also defer it to when he's here to
Yes.
get all that kind of content as well, because I think Sioux Lookout is really rich in a lot of resources, but we just don't share it as openly.
Mm.
Just that call out would be nice. It's a nice way to initiate it.
So once Brent gets back, we'll get him to do that. And we will,
Okay, it wasn't just in my head.
And then in the meantime,
it does, like with his idea of the publication.
Mhm.
So
fixing that, yeah. In the meantime, what I'll do is I'll go to the chamber and find out what they're doing, if there's any cultural component to that. Also, I'll contact the Friendship Center because they do the cultural nights on Wednesdays.
And the employer. What about the employer?
Which employer?
Well, like if you're saying like at Sioux Towers, like who is the employer of the people that work there?
Sioux Lookout nonprofit housing. Yeah, yeah. So ask. Yeah. And also Minnehaha, because they certainly used to do cross-cultural education, and they kind of lapsed when they were getting a lot of temporary, like people coming for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I remember Sue Anderson saying, well, the cross-cultural training was 2 whole days, and we really can't afford to let them pay for them to learn things for 2 days when we need them working. So they kind of dropped it. And at that point, because I had just spent a week in the hospital and was rather appalled by some of the things I saw that were definitely dodgy as far as cross-cultural stuff was going. And I said, well, you need to do something because
I do think that is the reality with employers too, that you get your entire staff trained and
then they all
30%
shift
leave,
yeah.
in a 4-month period of time, and you've already paid for that. There isn't endless resources to continue to pay for that. Yeah. So
Sorry, one of the other things also is like, I don't know if you're aware, but within the last few years, there have been these things called micro sessions, and it's essentially those whiteboard publications, like little animated, that kind of give you a bit of a background. And within those micro sessions, they're anywhere from like 4 to 9 minutes, but they give you a lot more history. So I'm putting that out here now because at least it'll be noted, but it takes time to put those together because you're taking maybe 15 pages of work and knowledge and putting it into 4 minutes. So
Still,
that writing,
that would be
because it's a quick it's
Yeah.
a quick learning, and it's been taking the corporate world by storm because it's easy information. You're able to retain it. You're getting the gist of it, and if you want to search further, you can go. So, but some of the platforms out there, like you have to generate and populate it, which is fine. But maybe again, for the communications part, because we've talked about interviewing people, and I have reached out to my aunt, and she says, let me think about it, and they've been busy. So
yeah,
so I'm like, yes, understandable. But just kind of like that highlight, or even if there's something that's on our website that just kind of gives it that little, but I just want it noted. I know we can't do it now because it would take time and money and energy. So, but maybe somebody has something already that they're willing to share.
maybe the national TRC site has
Yeah.
something there. That might be, yeah. Anyway, just before we leave this topic, I was at Como Shaw, who works in this building, and he's been in Sioux Lookout for almost 6, well, she's been in Canada for about 6 years. She had her citizenship oath ceremony last Tuesday, and I got invited to go to it. It was at the literacy center. It was truly amazing. Like I did citizenship, 45 odd years ago. Totally different. A huge focus on kind of history and culture of Canada. talked about truth and reconciliation a lot in the beginning of the ceremony. Just really, really amazing. And so I was quite impressed with that. And the message from the judge was, so now you're a citizen of Canada and you've all the rights of a citizen, but you also have the obligations. And one of those was to be good neighbors with everyone. And again, couched in terms of truth and reconciliation. The other thing I wanted to mention, up at the hospital, and that long corridor that goes up, sort of, you've got the garden, the internal garden on this side. There's a huge board, like it's sort of about size of 3 windows, with all the calls to action on them. And then beside that, there's pictures about this size, all to do with diversity and respect and what is racism, and some very, very thought-provoking pictures with captions that really make you think. So I think they've done a really good job there in terms of, kind of diversity and racism and the truth and reconciliation.
And I think these two things about like the micro learning and just as you're talking, some of these projects could be for our next plan, like our next year's work plan, the revised budget, and seeing, because we know that us being able to get this monument site is good, the gala, like we have these good ideas, and so we'll have an opportunity to add these to possibly next year's work plan, because they're helping broadening that education and awareness piece, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people's comments, when they see those standees, they stop and they look and they read and they're like, oh, so I thought that was a really good opportunity for people to showcase that they are looking towards these actions.
Yeah.
Just backtracking, in your proposal for the garden, I just thought of this. You said that we would allocate $500 per year. Do we have to approve that in advance? Because we're doing next year's budgeting planning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can.
But if we go to council,
that that's the
Yeah.
anticipated goal, is
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
move that over. And that way they can at least be aware that that is the future plan.
Okay.
But I mean, obviously that would depend on approval of those budgets every year.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because last year, when thinking about that last year, I think we left $300 in our budget. So it would only be $200 of what we spent this year, right?
And who knows, so we might not even use the whole.
Yes.
Yeah, just,
All right, now to jump back to the other topic of education. No, because you sparked my interest. Terry Lynn, Susan, yourself, Garnet, like they were on the anti-racism committee. I wonder if there's an opportunity that they might have already had some things written down for education.
Oh,
If
gosh.
if we could even just kind of,
Susan does have it.
yeah,
Susan has it.
I would assume so.
So
So
that's all, because I talked to her and she has everything
yeah, and why not?
in digital format and she can share them with us.
Yeah, because that like
And she does,
good information management and resource.
she sort of has the beginning of a guide.
Yeah, what we did mostly was based on, it's a group called Kairos, which is kind of interfaith group, and they call it the blanket exercise. So it's an interactive
Yeah.
learning, where you start with sort of Turtle Island as blankets and everybody's on it, and then as things happen, so you go through the history, and as things happen, you fold up, roll up the blankets, and then you're left with people, the Indigenous people, on tiny little pockets of land. So it's a very visual history of what has happened, but there's more to it than that. And Yeah, and we've expanded on the original Kairos teachings, and we did it with teachers going into the north. Like Margaret was part of that one. We've done it for, I don't know, different work groups. We've done it out at Pelican School for the high school students, church groups. So it's pretty good. I mean, it's not just that you're not just sitting there listening to a lecture. It's kind of hands-on, and you can adapt it for different groups.
And again, if there's just a roll-up of information that can just be put into a brochure or something would be helpful too. Like, I know if we're gonna go in-depth education, but that might not take place until next year, because I'm just thinking of the budget, right? I can kind of tap for this year. That's why I don't want them to be lost. If we're bringing them up now and we have ideas, then we can revisit them, because it would be nice to have like dedicated education.
Yeah.
But you still have to look for the presenters and the content. So if Susan already has a roll-up of info, that's great.
So the action item for this year leading up to next year would be just collecting resources.
Mhm.
'Cause that doesn't
Exactly.
cost anything.
Exactly.
When we're working on the work plan, then we can
Start
figure out what
looking
the
at it.
project looks like then.
Mhm. So I thought it was a good discussion to
Yeah,
bring these
no,
up. So
totally.
thank you for that. The education's very much necessary.
Yeah.
And just going back to the memorial site of London, the United Church has a fund called the Healing Fund, which could contribute to, startup stuff. So, yeah.
And there was that Truth and Reconciliation Fund as well,
Yeah,
which we're looking at.
yeah. So, okay. Number 9 is our work plan. I think I have a copy somewhere, but I couldn't find it. But I don't know if we have anything to update in there right now. I think everything's kind of in progress.
We all look at Megan.
I think so.
We need our information management
Have we
expert.
completed anything?
So I will take a look at the work plan for next time and like update anything that's changed and give everybody a copy again.
Yeah.
So that you have it, we can talk about it then. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right, next meeting date. What day are we gonna have it?
But right beside the July 15th of Megan's birthday.
I was thinking that one day off, or should we have it on the Monday?
I actually have the Monday off because I have an appointment. So we could do it the week before.
The 8th.
Yep, that would be fine. I checked council chambers before I came upstairs and it was available, so we could definitely do it on the 8th.
So July 8th.
And my phone.
Right, that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me.
Or should we wait more? Cause when's the next council meeting?
16th.
We have it on the 17th.
Yeah, I think we should have it after because we're not gonna have like any,
Updates or anything?
right?
It's the following week.
22nd,
That 15th I know is not possible because council chambers is booked.
but the 22nd.
The 22nd would be fine.
Why, anywhere?
I won't be here the 22nd,
All right.
but I can zoom in, hopefully.
Other dates, like I have to check on the council chamber bookings. Because I did only check on Tuesdays.
So why don't we say what dates we're available, and then you let us know when the chamber's free.
Well, I wasn't anticipating after the 17th, so I didn't check those dates. I would have to check them for after the 17th.
Yeah. So, but when are we available? So are we available on the 17th?
We can't come here at the chamber.
There's meetings in here all day.
Oh, can't do the 17th.
The 22nd so far, again, deciding on where everybody's at. Joan's away the 22nd.
I'm away, but I can zoom in.
Good.
I'm good for the 22nd.
Okay.
And if not, I'll let you know. Just kidding. Be like, now I have to decline. No, but I can zoom in too. if need be, so.
And everyone also on your calendars, make sure that you put the Bannock Bake Off.
Monday, what time?
It's on August 1st at 2, I think, 2 to 5:30.
I remember, I was just the other option, I guess, could be that if everybody wanted to Zoom on the 17th, I could see if that'd be allowed. Not sure. I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, because we've had the discussion that we could have a Zoom in, but we don't know if we could do a full meeting via Zoom. Yeah.
I mean, it's still gonna be streamed, it can still be available to the public. I would have to ask if that is permitted or not, because honestly, I don't know.
Good either way.
I'm good either way.
Let's just go with the 22nd.
Yeah.
Let's go with the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bannock Bake Off's the first.
Michelle, let's do it on the 15th, if you wanted to keep it on the 15th.
I'm not sure when Rock's action is. What date does it say?
Did you guys hear that? Michelle's available to sit here and do our minutes for the July 15th meeting.
You can do it without me on the 15th.
Yes.
If it works good, I'll make it.
Or do you want to wait till after the meeting, Alana, just so that you know, so that, yeah. Otherwise,
Do not.
working,
Let's
yes,
wait till after, yeah.
I think it'll be good if it's just that we have that information and then you could start the funding application. Yeah. We could talk about it.
Rocks is on the 4th, on Monday the 4th.
I'm not sure. Do you see the schedule, the Blueberry Festival?
So, there is one question I have. When there are activities such as the flag raising or kind of like when they did the rollout, my thought is we always are kind of expecting our counselors who sit on the Truth and Reconciliation to be there again, and the rest of us are optional. And the only reason I say that, like, again, we have the invitation extended to us, but I just wanted to know if that was kind of like everybody's understanding. Because there are times where I can attend and there are times like we can't. So it's okay. So just want that out there. Because I'll attend if I can.
That is, yeah, that's coming right up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Friday will be the flag raising.
And it's at what, 10?
10 a.m. We keep looking at you.
They are not standardized. Because that's what happened to me last year. I thought, because I went to like 4 or 5 of them, they were at 10 a.m. I assume they were all at 10 a.m. So I go to one at 10 a.m. and it was not at.
Going all like, I'm here.
a.m.
Okay, 10 a.m.
That was 2 weeks ago. I sent that email. I can't remember that part.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay, awesome. Motion to adjourn. We are,
11:59.
yeah.
A second.